John's gospel begins with these words. In the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. In him was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. The light shines in darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. I'm not sure what it is like where you live, dear friends, but out here, it's getting darker and darker by the day where I live. All is not well on planet Earth. We find ourselves facing all kinds of threats to the human race in the day in which we live. Conflict across the globe. The impact of climate change as seen in famine, earthquakes, hurricanes, and so on. Corruption, where lawmakers and keepers of the law are leading the way in the most heinous of crimes. And crime, unprecedented. Human trafficking. Teenage girls and children sold as slaves to satisfy the sexual lust of evil men. We need to hear the message of Christmas one more time in times like these. The Word became flesh and dwelt among us. And he was the light that shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. Jesus said, I am the light of the world. And in echoing that, John says again in his epistles, God is light. In him is no darkness at all. What does it mean for us? Listen to what the Apostle Peter said in his first epistle. He says, God has called us, God has called you out of the darkness into his wonderful light. What must we do? Listen to the words of Paul in Philippians chapter 2, verses 14 and 15. Do everything without grumbling or arguing, so that you may become blameless and pure. Children of God without fault in a warped and crooked generation. And listen to these words. Then you will shine among them like stars in the sky. What does it mean to shine as God's stars in a corrupt world? Two things I quickly want to share with you. First of all, we need to stop whining and start shining. I don't know if you know people who are never happy, always finding fault, always complaining. You see, friends, the people out there, most of them have only one way of seeing Jesus. You know what that is? Through you, through me. Our behavior is either throwing more mud on the face of Jesus or wiping it so that people can see him more clearly. I wonder what your life is doing in the light of that. Here's the thing, friends. Complaining will always turn your light out. The thing about light is that it always shines. It dispels the darkness. And when we are living in the light, we will refuse to cheat in exams or in business or in the place where we work. We hold on to the sanctity of the marriage covenant. We believe sex is sacred. All other forms of sex outside of marriage are wrong. So on and so forth. We shine the light. Paul says again, you are all children of the light and of the day. We don't belong to the darkness and night. He says that in 1 Thessalonians and echoes that in Ephesians chapter 5, where he says, for you were once darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Live as children of light. Do you have the light of Jesus? Is your light helping to dispel the darkness? Secondly, stop cursing, start blessing. Our world is getting darker by the day. The need today is greater than it has ever been before. At this point in time, 1.3 billion people live in grinding poverty, my friend, without access to basic human needs of safe drinking water, nutrition, healthcare, education. Someone in a position of responsibility recently said, we have to keep back food from the hungry to feed the starving. Listen to the words of Jesus in Matthew 5 verse 16, where he says, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. We are called to make a difference, my brothers and sisters. How do we do that? First of all, we pray, thy kingdom come. We cry out for the kingdom to come and keep coming until it comes in its fullness at the second coming of Jesus. But then we also try to make a difference in the here and now. Jesus challenged us to do this in Matthew chapter 5, where he says, and I'm quoting from the Message version, let me tell you why you are here. You're here to be salt seasoning that brings out the God flavors of the earth. If you lose your saltiness, how will people taste godliness? You're here to be light, bringing out the God colors in the world. God is not a secret to be kept. Now that I've put you there on a hilltop, on a light stand, shine. So friends, in the world in which we live, if the meat goes rotten, there's no use blaming the meat. Question to ask is, where's the salt? If the room grows dark, no point in cursing the darkness, is there? Question to ask is, where's the light switch? Turn it on. If society becomes corrupt, there's no point in blaming, cursing society or the government. Question to ask is, where are we? Where are the people of God? Why aren't we shining as we should? Light will always overcome darkness. Let Jesus' light shine through you and me, and let's make a difference for the darkness around us. Amen.